Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. Today I am going to attempt a new technique that I just learned. I just got out of my printmaking class. I'm taking a 2-week workshop and this is the start of week 2. I decided to use this technique as part of my final project, so it's important that I try it out before I do the final project. So what it is stab bound bookbinding. It's really likely that you've seen it somewhere before. I definitely have, but I've never tried to do it myself. So I have all this stuff. It's more involved than I expected, but I think it's going to be pretty fun. So what I figured out is I need more than what I prepared. What I've prepared so far is I made this like double cover that I was going to do so that it's kind of cool that it has these two colors. And then I've just got some old watercolor paper inside of here. But I need to cut another sheet from like a scrap paper to make a guide sheet so that I know where to stab, so that all the measurements will be on here and there won't be anything left on here. And then I also saw during the demonstration of the technique that you can add what's called a fly sheet, and that just seems like it'll make it so I don't know, fancy. Arissa, hello, Satuita, welcome. Yay, I'm glad you're here. You can learn how to do this too if you want. So the fly sheet goes here in between the cover and the main contents of the book or journal or whatever it is you're making. So I wanted to make those because I feel like it'll look really cool. So the first thing I need to do is cut these. We're working in 5x7 this time, but after the demonstration, I see why it's 5, but for the 7, I want to extend it out for my final version so that the area that can be written on, because I'm going to make like a journal, can be 5x7 in and of itself, and this bound part will be excluded from that measurement. But for now, we're starting with 5x7, so got my paper cutter. 5. And it doesn't, for me, I don't think it needs to be super precise because I don't mind that sort of handmade. It's a little bit uneven, not exactly the same size. Now for this, I'm going to have to use a ruler because this doesn't go out far enough. 7 inches. And then I'll take this out once I've got it. So can't cut the ruler. So 7 inches is here, and there, that's close enough anyway. Boom. Okay, so this is going to be the guide sheet, and while I've got the paper cutter out, I'm going to cut this too. What I learned is this is Asian paper. It's from my favorite Japanese like dollar store, 100 yen store, Daiso. Dang, it's gonna be too long. But if you use I have one of those cutters that you just go like this and it's like a little thing that goes chew, but it will rip it instead of cutting it. I'm hoping this thing will do better, but it's too long. It's too long this way. I can't force it, so I'm gonna have to get out some other stuff. I have a whole bin of cutting supplies. So I guess what I'll do first is just fold it in half. That'll make it easier to manage. And then I can also get the whole thing cut in a shorter cut. So, yeah, at least I can use this to measure. Cut it down to 7 here. Trying to get it nice and squared. Okay. I recently remembered that I have had this fabric cutter and I haven't used it in ages. And it works great for making a straight cut on a piece of paper. Because it's like this wheel and you pop it out and then you can just follow along here. Boom! I've never seen anyone recommend this for cutting before. It works great. Okay, now I need to make it 5 inches. These edges aren't going to be exact, but that's okay. That's okay. Set the 5-inch mark. And, well, it's kind of hard to cut it like that. There. Make sure I don't chop my own fingers off. This is really sharp. And then this little button pops it back in for safety. Yay! That was fast. Done with that for now, but not forever. Okay, done with that. Oop. Pizza cutter. Yep. An extremely sharp, small pizza cutter. Okay, putting the fly sheets in. So maybe when I make my printmaking project, these little fly sheets could be actual prints that I've made. But this right now is just mostly an experiment to get this technique figured out. Okay, got this. Let's see. Yep, it's right size. Now, yeah, we need this again. Now I'm gonna mark on the guide sheet. So the measurements we were told to use for 5x7 are, where's my pen? 1/2 inch, and that's for the where the punches go, and then 3/4 inch, and that's where we're gonna put in a fold so that you can actually open the book. And then every inch, and that's why 5 inches tall is good. Every inch we're going to put dot. That way each stab point is an inch. So it's like an inch from here, and then an inch to each other, and then an inch to the top edge. Then here I guess I'll just make a line. There. Now, I'm going to have to do it on both of these covers. I'm not going to do it on the back cover because back cover doesn't really need to be able to open. So I'm just going to line this up. Maybe I'll clip it on the side. So clip it so that it's... And how you're supposed to do this is put this ruler here and then take a bone folder, score it, and then you can fold it The idea, you could use something other than a bone folder. The idea is to just score it with something that isn't sharp, but still has a kind of a finer point so that it can get in there good. So now this is, and I'll fold it the other way too. There, now this has like a hinge. So I'm going to do it on the other piece I'm using for my double cover. Clip it, clip it. I might end up buying another tool for, this is not quite, there, that's better. For the stab part, I don't have an awl, which is what was recommended, or a like ceramics punching tool. So today I'm just going to try using, like, I've got this little teeny tiny screwdriver, and I've got a regular sewing needle. I've also got the bookbinding needle, but it's not sharp, so it can't punch through there on its own. Just going to try some stuff and see if I can make it work. There. So now this is nice and creased so that you can open it, and then when you're using it as a journal, you can hold it down and see it will stay down for the most part. Let's put these back in, and then put the guide sheet back on top. So something my professor encountered when she was doing the demo was this shifted. So I'm gonna put even more clips on it than she did. She provided these 2 clips for us. I'm gonna put on a couple more of my own. Whoops, I missed it back. Because what happened when it shifted was that she ended up on the fly having to punch another hole because this one got off a little bit, and so there was an extra hole. Sorry about my shoulder. There. There's an extra hole in the binding, and I'm not too worried about it being all even on the sides, but I don't want like an extra hole because I feel like that's distracting. Okay, so now I've got this super good. And let's see. I was going to start with this needle and see if I can just get it through there to get the hole started, and then I could use, so I've got a thimble to push it through there. Hey, it seems like it's going. It's not all the way through though. Oh, it's coming, it's coming. I see it just barely. This seems like such a cool technique. I think I probably will invest in some sort of awl. I bet you could get one for cheap on Amazon, just like most stuff. But I really wanted to try this technique as soon as possible so that I wouldn't forget what I just learned in class. I took a ton of notes, but it's, you know, I didn't write everything. It's impossible to take notes fast enough. At least for me, it's impossible. Come on. Maybe that's enough. Maybe that's enough to get the screwdriver to... Don't need that thimble now. I think this is going to work. Ha-ha! Yep, it's just barely going through. Just need to get it. I'm going to stand up. Yes! I'll stab through this side too to get it both ways. Helps if I twist it back and forth a little bit. There. Sweet. I don't know if you can see that. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. One down. 3 to go. Sweet. I'm glad this worked. So yeah, just start the hole with the needle, regular old sewing needle. Heck, maybe I don't even have to go through as far. Let's test that. Maybe I don't need to go that far. As long as I give this a place to sit. Yep, made it way faster. Just get this in on this side so that it goes all the way through. I don't like doing this on my cutting mat though. That's why I have all this newsprint right here. Just stab into the newsprint that I'm going to use for cleaning up after prints anyway. There. That one. Next. Ah, pilot hole. Like when drilling with kids. Yes. Exactly. That's what it's called. I knew there was a name for that. Thank you. That's exactly what we're doing, just in paper. And find that. Stand up. Push it in there. Boom. And go from the back too. Perfect. It's perfect. Last one. And this doesn't have to be exactly like if you're if the holes you stab are off a little bit, it's not going to ruin the binding process or anything. Sweet. I'm so glad that that worked. Okay, now this was where my professor had trouble, and I think that this will solve it. What she did was take these apart in order to take this guide sheet off, because it's really easy. She even had it marked guide sheet, but she said she's done it before where she bound the guide sheet onto it, and like that's a bit of a problem. So in order to keep these holes from getting off center from one another, I'm not going to take these clips off. I'm just going to bend this over, and then that way I won't bind this, but I won't change where these holes are. So something my professor said to do was to use the bone folder to push this. You know, when you push the paper out, it goes like a flower. You know, the paper that you're pushing has to go somewhere. So she recommended using the bone folder to get that paper either pushed back into the hole a little bit or just smooth it out. So it looks a little neater when it's finished. Good idea. Thank you. Hopefully I remember all the other tips and tricks she gave me. Man, this looks so cool. This already looks cool because like this little scored line and everything. Like, I'm excited about this. Okay. I'm gonna look at my instruction sheet. just wrote down everything. Okay. Score the covers, add the fly sheet. Main contents are there, guide sheet is there. Punch the holes. Yep, it's time to do the thread. Okay. The knot will be on whichever side you first enter with the needle. I wanted the knot to be on the back. This workshop is awesome because she included all this stuff. So I have this bookbinding needle, I get this cool waxed thread. So just put this through like this. And then I wanted it to go through the back. So you start on the top and you pull it through. And then what? So you pull it through. Oops, hit my lamp. Hopefully that's enough. And then she said, what's cool about the linen, the waxed linen thread, is that you can sort of bend it and it will stay put right there. Okay, now this is the kind of tricky part. So, so hole number 1, go around the side and enter through the back again. And you're supposed to sort of straighten it out and pull it pretty tight. Yeah, that looks beautiful. Okay, and then I believe you go around the top. Yep, go around the top and enter through the back again. Same hole number 1. Oh, I'm so glad that apparently some students in this workshop got tapestry needles rather than bookbinding needles because the bookbinding needles were in short supply. So I'm happy I got one of those because my professor stabbed herself on video on Zoom, and I definitely would have just now if I didn't have this. No, it's not sharp at all. So now it's around the top. Straighten it, pull it taut, and then I think you go into 2. Yep. Go into hole number 2 from the front. Just pull it taut. And then I'm going to use my thumb to hold it just in case. Let's see. Okay, enter hole number 2 from front, go around side to 2 again. I am sure glad I wrote this down. She's going to be sending out the directions, but I really wanted to try it right away. That's why I wrote everything down really fast. There. Now, enter 3 from the back. Pull it taut again. And go around the side to the back again for 3. Working great. Yes. Yes. Pull it taut, make it straight. And then, so I went around side to 3, and then you go to 4 on the front. Pull it taut. I'm holding it with my thumb to keep it taut, and then I betcha go around the side. Oh, come on. Come on, you gotta go around the side, buddy. There. Straighten it. When I was searching something right before I did this. Oh, I wanted to make sure what this was called. I didn't want to call it something dumb, but I had it right. But in doing that search, I saw just Google was like, here's some pictures, and they had like crazy like zigzag, and they gave these beautiful different ways to do it. I'm just going to stick with the basic one for now till I understand it better. And then you do the bottom. Okay, do the side, do the bottom. I'm doing the bottom. Doing the bottom right now. Pull it taut, straighten it out. Now this was a satisfying part because now you just fill in the gaps. Ugh. Yeah, this is why you need a pretty big hole, bigger than your thread, because the thread goes through multiple times. So I'm just filling in these gaps here on the front and back. So the end part is pretty easy. Now what? Now. Okay, I think I go around the back one more time. Or was it? Okay, I'm getting confused. I think that I needed to not put this through. This last one, you just tie it. But I need it on the needle. Definitely gonna have to buy it. I really like how this sort of sticks where you put it. Now you're supposed to put this under this thread instead of through that final hole, so that you can tie these. Yikes. She said to do a square knot. I'm pretty sure I know what that is. I'm going to double knot it just in case. So I've got it nice and tight. I don't want to lose that. Yeah, that's got to be a square knot. Boom. And then she said trim it. Boop. I'm going to leave these little strings out on purpose. I don't want to trim it super close to the knot. I want it to show. Yay! I think it worked. Look, it's so cool. I like it. Okay, let's take it apart. Two regular knots. Ooh. Yep, that's what I did. I think it'll be good enough, especially since this is waxed thread, so it's like sticky. It's gonna stick to itself. It's not gonna come undone very easily. This took a lot less time than I thought. It's only been half an hour. I did it! Yay! The scoring worked perfectly, just with a ruler and a bone folder. She also said you could use something like a kitchen knife or something, like the back of a kitchen knife, not the sharp side, but the back side, to do the scoring if you don't have a bone folder. And then this little... I used watercolor paper in here because that's something I had. I had this little cheap pad of watercolor paper that I never use for anything else. But I don't think I'm actually going to watercolor in here because I'm sure it will ruin the covers. So I'll just use it with like ink or something. I'll use it as a written journal, or maybe just sketching. I wonder if next time maybe I should score these pages too, because they're a little thicker. With this thin Asian style paper, it doesn't need scoring. I just was able to fold it myself. But these ones, it's like I feel like I need to do this right now, and if I was making this as a journal for someone else, as like a gift, or if I wanted to make a handmade journals and try to sell them or something like that, I think it would be better if all the pages already bent on their own so the person doesn't have to do it. Because now I'm having to do it and it's like, So that's something I learned from this experiment. That's a little extra work, but I don't want to give, especially if I'm going to do it as a gift, I don't give them work to do. But I think it worked out good. My own little handmade journal. There, that's way better. Now that I just folded them in on themselves, so I definitely will score the inside pages. I'm going to write that down. Boom. So many notes. I have like 3 pages. 3 pages of notes on this. Yes, though, this worked great. I'm gonna have to get more. Yeah, may as well get an awl and get a thing of string, but I'll have to think about what color string I want for my final project, because my final project, I want to make a journal, so I want either blank pages or, where are they? I was thinking of using stuff like this. Maybe not this one because it's so dark, but pages that I printed and then I was even thinking of doing trace monotype lines, so there'd even be lines printed on there, and then someone could write and use it as a journal. So maybe these lighter colors, and these would be the pages in the book, so that it's like a rainbow book with cool shapes and stuff. Ooh, this would be cool on this cover like this, so you can see the dots. I have so much to think about. It's due by Friday, so I've got today and 3 more days to get the concept figured out and actually make it. At least it doesn't seem like this this bookbinding technique, it doesn't take very long. It only took me half an hour, less than half an hour. Maybe scoring all the pages would take a little longer, but I think I can do it. Use those as a flypaper. Yeah, that's a good idea too, especially if I want to do these darker ones. For these, I was just experimenting with the ink, with the colors, with what it's like when I put like a stamp or something on it to pull ink off or put ink back on. But what I want to do for the final project is a little more intentional. I want to make stamps with my linoleum block, and then yeah, they'll be like sized to fit within the space of the book, and yeah. So yeah, that would be perfect because these are printed on this same paper. Those examples. These examples are printed on this same paper, so that would be perfect. So yeah, maybe I could just use plain blank paper and then have a print every so often. Every so many pages. Alright, well, I thought it would take longer than this to bind this book. But I guess I better sign off and get to work on my concept for my journal. Maybe I'll be back with something else or tomorrow. For now, thanks for watching. Bye!